Deep beneath the house of rest in the Firefly cellar, things are becoming rather intense. Alto, you were rushing around a kitchen trying to find anything you can to destroy this book, while Bex eagerly assists you. All around you, then, you start hearing this dull laughter, laughing in amusement at what is happening. And again, the song constantly repeating in your mind. You see Varney just coming in, and she just sort of clutches her head, saying, "Wait, wait!" But what do you do, Alto?
I try to locate where that voice is coming from, but then, no, I need to continue destroying this thing. Surely destroying it will solve all of this.
Could you roll me an insight check?
That's 12.
You quickly find an old fork. You go back and you just start prying away at this book. You must destroy it. You must destroy it. Although, if destroying it didn't work, what would you do next? You just find yourself thinking, just for a second. What do?
Alright, well, that's not gonna work. There's some kind of mechanism here. Maybe I can turn it off. Yeah. Something about a music box?
You actually look at the book and realize there is something rather interesting about it. It's almost like there's not pages, but there is space for pages. There was also something on the cover that was a picture of a woman. You've badly damaged it now, though. That was the first thing you went for. And again, the spine is badly damaged. What do? You pause for a moment. The laughter continues around you. Bex, you notice that Alto has paused and is actually looking at the book. What do?
Having looked around the room trying to find something to help him smash it with, I stand there with a pan in my hand. But as Vanya comes in and says to stop, I turn to her and I say, "It's not a real book. It's made of metal and it's a contraption of some sorts."
We can discuss the definition of a book later, but just wait. Thank you. Stop. We need to... What sort of scholars are you? We need to look at it to see what it's actually doing. What if just destroying it doesn't work?
Seems dangerous. I just want to be rid of this song. Does the shadow have a name? Shemshime, Shemshime.
Alto, what do? Varney comes to your side, looking distraught and trying to look at the book itself. And again, it is an interesting contraption now you think about it. It also doesn't at this point seem to be, you realise, doing anything.
So there's space to put pages in? Is that it? It's an incomplete book? Could we complete it? Is that it?
Well, looking at it, you realise that there is mechanisms, but again, you can't access them. It occurs to you that maybe something would happen if you actually turned it on. It's currently off, you think. You see a little switch at the top.
Huh, it can't be worse than what it already is. I try to flick it on, then.
And you flick on the book. It whirs and clanks a little. The very first thing seems a bit distraught. You realise why. You damaged it just now, even more than it already was damaged. But eventually it sort of clicks and you begin to see a little scene. It's very skillful, definitely gnomish. Little pistons and gears begin moving, and you start to see little, almost like little puppet drawings, almost, sort of just pop up from the book. And you see a little scene of a woman with a little scythe in her hand, and she twirls around, and then there is a man, and then she swings down the scythe and takes his leg. And then a little figure appears behind them. And the song is playing. The song, you know, again, by this point, it's playing in your mind so much that it doesn't really make it worse, it just continues it, but now with a little musical accompaniment. And then it continues, and you see another scene. There's the dog, and a woman, and biting the hand, and then it continues, and it's the sun, and falling into a river, and then it's continuing, and it's just playing this song. Bex, what are you doing? They're both now watching this contraption play this song in full. How are you feeling?
It's the songs. There it is, the song. It's going on. I sit down on the floor and I watch the show going on and on again, and I start laughing to myself. I have to almost keep myself from clapping my hands at the show.
Indeed, and you sit down and you just start singing, terrified, but you can't stop. Alto. Then there's a click sound, a sort of whirring, quite a bad one. It almost sounds a bit like the first one that happened, which you caused by damaging it. And you think you see another scene was just about to pop up, and then the whole book just sort of quickly resets itself and goes back to the beginning and plays again. What do you do, Alto?
Now we need to complete the book. Can I try to understand what would cause the mechanism to work? Like how to repair it or how to make it continue and not reset?
You don't really know. I mean, you think you'd understand some basic stuff, but this is a very complicated piece of machinery. However, you do notice Varnir is looking over your shoulder, and isn't that her job?
Varnir, can you repair this, or can you make it go further? It reset itself. I think we need to let the story complete. Maybe that way we can break this Shemshime, this humming and this singing.
Well, yes, that's what I was trying to do, but, oh god, you've made it a bit difficult. You've already damaged the first part with your knife. Well, hang on, I mean, it's all... The mechanism here... Hang on, I have some tools, and she starts taking some stuff out and begins trying to fix this book, but she looks at you. I think you're right, there might be a little more to the book, but is that going to help? Do you think? Maybe fixing it makes it worse. Oh, I don't know.
But can it get any worse than this?
What do you mean, there's supposed to be more?
Well, I think so. Listen to that stop at the end. Again, the music box is now just continuing. And yes, Bex, the end, it just stops very abruptly. Normally you might not think much of that, but for such a skillfully made book, it seems odd that it would end like that and then hop back to the beginning.
Ah, yes. Well, can you fix it then? I might be able to do some little mending of something myself.
She takes out her tools and sort of looks at Ida, and then Katala comes over and says, like, I know a little bit of mechanics. Hang on, allow me to help. And they start trying to work on this book. And as they do so, the book begins to tremble. For a moment, you hear the innards squeak, and then there's a clicking sound, and then something begins to come out of the book. You see Varnir and Katala look a little concerned, and then say, you two, tell you what, whatever that is, stop it happening, and we'll keep fixing the book. You see this shadow begin to form into a figure in front of you, Alto. The figure is glaring at you with two reddish eyes. What do you do?
Oh, I back away a little bit. What is that?
It's Shemshime. Shemshime. Is that your name, Shadow?
The shadow laughs and begins to extend a hand out towards you. Please, Alto and company, roll initiative.
21.
11.
Alto, this being begins to come towards you. It seems to almost fill the room, a black tendril-like claw extending to your hand. The song is on the wind now, everywhere this song. It's almost like it's being sung by more than just the people in this room, but thousands of voices. This thing definitely means you harm. You see Varnir and Katala desperately trying to fiddle with tools to try and fix this book, but you're not entirely sure they're going to be able to before this thing does you harm. What do you do?
I must harm it first. I unleash magic missiles upon it.
Very good. Please roll the damage for those magic missiles as they strike.
Then I do 4 with the first and 4 with the second.
The being kind of screams in anger as it is attacked, and it continues its advance upon you. It extends a claw, trying to reach around your neck. Its claw wraps around your throat and begins crushing with a strange force, and your mind just starts filling with that song louder and louder. Please take 10 psychic damage.
And I feel that this is not going to go well. I have to flee now. I have to get out of here.
Bex, you see this being come down upon Alto and begin choking the life out of him. What do?
It's materializing so strangely. I instinctively reach out for fire, but it doesn't come. So I take the next best thing I have in the moment and I try to launch out a disgusting ray of sickness at it.
You fire out this ray of intense malice and disease, and to your horror, it just passes through this being. After all, the being is made of shadow. There's no physical thing there. Your spell just doesn't do anything.
I worried as much. I take just 2 steps back, fumbling for what to do.
You notice Vanya and Kutala sort of stand up in horror. At this point, Ebner has taken himself off the ground. He grabs his girl and just runs. And they then run as well, taking the book with them. Vanya's like, "Try and... Oh, I'm sorry, we need to get away from it!" And as they run, Alto, you notice the being's head, looking at you, turns to face them as they are running away. It is your turn. What do?
It is made of shadow. Perhaps I can remove it with light, I think. And I just cast the light cantrip on it, trying to light up the shadow as much as I can.
Your light cantrip goes off for free, as it's just a cantrip spell, filling the room with light. The shadow laughs maniacally, and the light is put out. All around this being, you see smaller shadows. The entire basement now just becoming full of darkness as it laughs. But your turn is not over. You still can have an action.
I will unleash another magic missile then, that's all I have.
You cast it. Please roll damage.
2 + 4.
And your spells again fire into this being, causing it to let go of you for a moment as it backs off. Clearly frustrated. Your attacks are doing something, but maybe not enough. The being then looks at you, and then looks to you, Bex. Could you make a wisdom saving throw, Bex?
5.
The being looks at you, and forms a mouth, and the song just comes from its mouth and fills your head to the point where your head feels like it will burst. Please take 15 psychic damage as the voice, this song, is now the only thing in your world, at least for a few seconds.
Get out of my head.
And then, Alto, seeing this happen before you, you notice the being just sort of laugh and just brush you aside and begin moving after the others. It's chasing them, not finishing you off. Bex, it's your go. You are reeling from this damage, but you do then notice the being is leaving the area. It's chasing after the people running away.
I think to myself, they must finish the repairs of the book. I once again fill the space around me, and I use the warding wind cantrip, deafening us and other creatures in the area. Perhaps now we won't hear the song, and maybe it will make it harder for it to move.
You cast your wind spell, causing the kitchen to enter mayhem once again. Pots and pans fly about, the table flies in the air. Also, you are pushed forward. You manage to keep your footing, but the gust pushes you forwards. You kind of for a moment are right by this creature's side as it kind of just dissipates for a moment, laughing and then moving with the wind. It is after all a creature of shadow. But it does get a little disrupted, you think, by this action. It is your turn. What do? Again, the others have now left this area. You see them running to the second floor. The being kind of looks at you in irritation, as you are kind of in its way now because of the wind blast.
I try to rush ahead of it and try to close whatever doors are in the way. I don't think it will work, but maybe.
You just try and run forwards, trying to get ahead of this creature. You quickly go up the stairs and close the door that leads there. You immediately see, forming around the door, the shadow of the creature, sifting through the door. Not immediately, but slowly, but it will be through the door. soon, you think. You see the others kind of run to the table, the big stone table just below that massive book, and again try working on it. Varney kind of looks at you and says, It followed us, didn't it? The book means something! The book means something! I think we can fix it, just we need more time!
We'll buy whatever time we can. Just make it happen, okay? And I make myself ready to attack the creature as soon as it gets through the door.
The being begins moving through the door. Fully coming through, and begins moving past you, Alto. But you readied yourself for an action, so I'll allow you to do something. What do you do?
I only have my magic missiles. It's the only thing I have. So I unleash them yet again.
Roll your damage.
3 + 3, 6.
Again, the creature kind of veers off to the left, half its arm vanishing for a moment before reforming. But it does slow a little, as it kind of just tries to reach the table, and then sort of turns to face you. It looks confused for a few seconds, but you feel an attack will come soon. Bex, it's your turn. What do? You're suddenly alone in this darkness. You can hear this singing around you and these voices, but everyone else has left this place now, including the being.
So, do I still hear them, even though I'm deafened, because it's a magical thing?
Yes, you don't hear it with your ears. You just hear it in your head. It's in your head, Bex. Doesn't matter if you are now deafened.
I barely catch up to the shadows as it sifts through the door, but I'll have to go in and try and keep it at bay if I can. This wind constantly whirring around me.
Luckily, the door opens. After all, Alto stepped away from the door, seeing as it didn't stop the shadow. So you do manage to just get there and open the door and see this being bearing down on Alto and all the others around the table trying their best to quickly fix this book. What do you do with your action?
I would like to use a bonus action and use my sorcery points to regain a spell slot.
Very well. You do so.
And I will now cast Ice Knife at this shadow, seeing that now it is away from everyone else.
Yes, you just sort of step in front of Alto to push him aside, so he is not in the range either, and you cast Icy Knife. Please roll that spell.
Step away, I say, and I form it in my hands and I throw it. It's, I roll a 9.
You throw your icy knife, and it just goes straight over the head of this being. You realise it goes completely wide. It hits that thing above you. The book sculpture. One of the chains just sort of cracks a little and breaks. You hear the whole thing kind of creak a little, but still up there. But yes, you missed the being, fortunately.
And I don't even see it. I don't even see where it hits. I just see that it doesn't. And I get ready to cast another one as soon as I can.
Alto, it is your turn. What do you do?
I just need to continue buying as much time as I can. So I will cast another magic missile on first level. It won't do much, but it will do something. 2.
You're getting so tired, so fatigued, and that singing. Again, it does recoil. Your magic missiles are hitting it. And it does seem to be affected by them, but you need more. Maybe just a little more. The being, unfortunately, looks at you in irritation now, and once again comes towards you, striking a shadowy claw across your face, Alto. However, you manage to duck. Tell me how this happens.
I'm so tired I'm almost falling over as it stands, and so when it attacks me, I'm already kind of in the motions of almost collapsing, so I think I'm just lucky. I don't think I would have been able to dodge it otherwise.
And you sort of clamber to the side, almost falling near the table with the others. Bex, what do? Alto manages to dodge out of the way, getting further into the room, so now you are the closest to this being.
Good, but there's still space. I fling another ice knife, but now on the 2nd level.
Roll your attack.
12.
You hit, roll damage.
First, the knife sticks itself into the shadow, doing 6 piercing damage. I don't know if that affects it, but then it explodes, and the shadow will have to make a dexterity save. or get hit by 3d6 cold damage.
How much does he need to beat?
14.
He fails. How much cold damage?
7.
This time your knife strikes true, directly hitting the being in its chest. It explodes in a sudden shower of ice as its shadow kind of forms into ice and just falls to the ground. And for a few seconds, you think you've won. And then you just see the shadow begin to reform, laughing. You destroyed it, but it's just coming back, Bex.
We just need to keep it from reforming.
Alto, you see this happen, this being finally, fully dissipate, but then it just comes back. The bookshelves begin to stir once again, books begin flying all over the place, the fireflies flickering on and off, and finally you sort of look and notice that Vanya has come to your side. I think we've done it! Quick, Kutala, just wind it to the end! Kutala agitatedly tries to do this, and you hear the book continue. There is more to the song than you originally heard.
I'm trying to prevent the being from getting to the book. If it completes, maybe that will be enough. So if I can still launch an attack on it, I will do that, trying to hopefully prevent it from getting to the book.
Well, we shall do that. But will you actually look at the book, or do you focus entirely on the creature?
I think I will be drawn to the book. I am very curious to see what happens there, and perhaps I can even do something to help.
And so, as you're casting your spell, getting ready to attack this being, which has now turned his attention to you and everyone at the table suddenly, ignoring Bex, it seems, you do see another scene. This time, the page turns to show you a girl, and this girl is darting under something, and the shadow is following, and you hear in your heads the final verse. See a daughter grinding grain, wish the spirit's time was through, trap set for the shadow bane, her millstone killed it true. And on that line you see this heavy millstone, farmer's house or something like that, just crash down upon the shadow, and it blinks away. Then the book completely changes. Every single thing in it begins to whir and shift, and the scene becomes of you. All of you. Sitting around the stone table, surrounded by the book stacks. Surrounded by these large book stacks, and over you this large, heavy object, as the shadow, smiling and laughing, just begins whirling around you all, whirling, and your heads just come off, and the book just starts rapidly repeating the song again and again and again and again and again. The shadow screams in anger and rushes towards you. It is not gone. What do you do, Alto?
I try to escape from it.
Where do you escape to?
Just away, anywhere.
Upstairs, downstairs, you're on the second floor of this construction, so you could run, just hide in a random location, you could run up the stairs.
Well, then up the stairs I go.
You bolt, fleeing for your life as you just run up these stairs, quickly running. You hear Vanya say, Wait, don't just run! Where are you running to? The being cascades after you, but then stops for a moment. It looks at Vanya and strikes. But luckily, Vanya is able to just duck underneath the stone table as this being just smashes the book aside, which falls to the ground, growling in anger. Bex, it is your turn. You have the full song. That was always the full song. You know it all by heart now. But everything is getting more and more intense. It hasn't been defeated. What do you do?
I look at the beings, and I have the final verse in my head. Trap set for the shadow bane, her millstone set it through. And I look up, and I see the giant stone book that I severed a chain from, hanging up there in the air. It will crush it. It will crush it, I think, and I fling the dagger that is forming in my hand towards one of the other chains.
Roll your attack.
10.
You manage to hit, just, again hitting one of the chains. Your icy dagger explodes, and you see suddenly this whole sculpture just start swaying, grinding unpleasantly. It kind of almost falls down, but one chain still you can just see is hovering in the air. You see the creature sort of look up for a moment, and then glare, clearly starting to try and move out of the way. Alto, what do? You running up the stairs, running for your life, you turn as Vanir shouts for you, and you see her ducking away from the table. You see the book flying from the table, just underneath this thing. And then you see Bex. He's trying to bring down the sculpture? What do?
I stop myself from fleeing. I was trying to save my life. I didn't think we had a chance. I will try and help Vex then by bringing down the sculpture and the way that he's doing. I will launch my magic missiles at this chain.
You can do this, but as you're about to charge up the spell, you do just notice that the book, which has now been swept aside a little, the creature's heading towards it. It won't be underneath. No, it wouldn't fall on it if it falls now. Does this change what you do?
Then we have to get it closer. I rush for the book then, trying to get there before it.
You manage to reach the book and pick it up. What do?
I move underneath this sculpture, trying to get the shadow to come underneath it so that Vex can bring it down. I just have to hope that I can get away.
You manage to get the book and just bring it back to the center of the table. But as you do this, of course, you see the being then bear down upon you, no longer laughing, now just screaming in anger. And it strikes you hard in the back. You drop the book in the right place, but fall yourself, again taking 10 psychic damage as your mind is just filled with screaming and this singing.
That will take me down.
And you fall. And you do not lose consciousness. Instead, you're simply on the ground, just screaming and singing, singing and singing. Bex, the being is above this Alto, but it is also directly underneath the sculpture. What do?
There's no stopping. We must keep going. I see the book. It will be smashed too now. Maybe it needed to be finished. The thoughts rushed through my head, mingled with the song. All the parts now are into one. Shemshime, Shemshime. Another dagger materializes in my hand. I weave the incantation and let it go.
Roll your attack.
16.
You fire your dagger, firing it once more at that last chain. You hear a creak, and the entire sculpture falls. You see the being look up, and then disappear with a violent sound as this thing just falls upon it. Alto, you do not know what's happening anymore, but you do feel someone just pull you out of the way. Vanir, she just drags you quickly out of the way, and you are not consumed with the being. What's going through your mind, Alto?
Did we do it? Is this it? I try to stay awake.
Could you roll me a death saving throw?
I roll a 10.
And you are holding on. You are holding on. The noise begins to quiet. And then there is silence in the cellar. Bex, what do? There is no more singing. You can hear something clicking somewhere, but that's it.
It's gone. It's really gone. I let go of all enchantments around me. The wind, merely a memory now. The knife that I was about to conjure up in my hand, I let it dissipate. I go slowly, carefully, towards the clicking sound.
You see the book. It fell from the table just before being crushed. You see for a moment something shimmering around it, some sort of shadow sort of seeping into it. You then hear a gentle click as the book closes itself and is silent.
think that is it. Can we leave now? Yes.
Roll me another death saving throw, Alto.
20.
You come to. You're in a lot of pain, but it's silent now. You're finding it very hard to move, though.
I think maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. Am I still humming?
No. You don't even remember the tune.
I've forgotten the words. Have you?
Varnier looks down at you. I think so. Oh my goodness, are you alright? You haven't really been injured, so you're not losing any blood, but I think it attacked your spirit or something. Some sort of undead abomination or a creature of the Shadowfell. I've no idea what it was, but it must have been in the book.
Yes. Yes. What do we do now?
I come over to them, slowly walking. Well done in restoring it. You made the mechanism. You restored the mechanism so that we could finish it, even under such extreme circumstances. Most impressive.
The tabaxi kind of just winces a little, scratching at the floor. Well, I'm rather skilled at using my claws. That was not a pleasant experience. Oh.
No, it was not. I wonder what this story was all about. What happened to these people?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was just a bedtime rhyme. A little fairy tale book. Don't even recall when it came here. Although, maybe the thing that happened, could it have been linked? After all, the Avowed killed himself.
It must have been. It must have been. I just hope that the curse, or whatever it is, that it's broken now that the story has been allowed to complete, to finish. That this spirit is at rest now. I hope.
Who cares about the spirits, as long as we are safe? They will come down, yes, they will see that there is a mess, but we will be let out, yes?
It's as you're saying that you hear shouting from above, and the sound of the door unlocking, and then you hear from the other end, "Scribe Vanya! Scribe Vanya! Quickly, describe the situation!" And she will leave your side, Alto, and describe the situation. You are not allowed out straight away. It still takes a few hours. However, now, there is no horrific singing, so maybe it's not so bad. And the sages will come down and begin interviewing you all and assessing the situation. You will see also the book being considered for a moment, and then the sages quickly cast a few spells and take it away. They seem to be treating it very carefully. You think to yourself perhaps the being has not been destroyed. Maybe it's still in that book. It's definitely going to be taken somewhere a lot safer than this cellar.
That is good. That is good.
As the questions come, you notice, Bex, that as they are talking to Edna and his daughter, they keep glancing your direction very angrily. You see the sages looking at you very sternly. What's going through your head?
I try to patch my own wounds, as I am hurt as well. But I saved their lives. They should be grateful.
Alto, you are above, no longer in the Firefly cellar. You do see the Kenku Crinkle being taken care of as well. She seemed quite injured, but you don't hear what's being said to her. As the hours pass and you're let go, you are just seated with Varnir having some food. Well, I think they think it's all okay now. The book will be taken to the vaults, never to be seen again. Who would have thought such an evil presence was in such a simple child's book? I don't know why. We know nothing about who made the book in the first place, but they think maybe it was part of the shipment that came with that merchant.
strange things. I do wonder if it was just mechanical in nature and the spirit was somehow lured to it, or if someone imprisoned it there at some point.
A mystery indeed, a mystery indeed. Alto, are you feeling better? At this point, Alto, you have received healing. You are tired and weak, but you are no longer on death's door.
I'll be alright. I really do wish that I could have afforded that more expensive room now. 200 gold.
Well, you made a good works of it. The magic missile slowed it down significantly, I think.
I suppose. We did it together, I guess. I just hope it's over now. I just hope we can go back to studying again. That's all I wanted to do.
You see a group of sages entering the room, Bex, of the inn. They are quite fearsome looking, these sages. Their robes are a slightly different colour, and they have medallions around their necks. One of them comes towards you, a large man with a quite thick beard. Well, Seekers, this has been quite the incident. You can rest assured, though, that the book has now been safely placed where it must be. I am afraid, though, we do need to discuss some things. Seeker Alto, by the sounds of it, you did your best to assist. We are thankful for that. Seeker Bex, unfortunately, it sounds that while you were under duress, and perhaps could not be blamed for some of your actions, the rules of Candlekeep are strict for a reason, and according to our scribe, you seemed largely in control of your actions when you chose to repeatedly threaten our scribes and even draw a weapon. A weapon which you shouldn't really have even had, but we allowed you to keep on the simple grounds that it never be drawn. And you drew it, and nearly killed one of ours. You nearly killed a young girl, apparently, and you did quite a few very bad things that are not in keeping with the spirit of Candlekeep. Do you have anything to say to this?
Why, this is an outrage. I never drew it for purpose of hurting anyone. He came at me first to attack me as I was looking for the artifacts. I never attacked the girls. This is lies.
And yet there is evidence that you were the one who ransacked his chambers, ransacked his personal belongings, was smashing an effigy of his wife necessary to your investigation.
I will also say that I used my magic to be able to infiltrate the room of the one who was in possession of the books. I was the one enabling us to get a hold of it, and then I was the one who finally landed the blow, smashing it to pieces. This all saved a lot of pain and suffering from all these persons. Perhaps they would not be alive if I hadn't.
It is certainly possible. It is a tricky situation, but we have made our decision. You will not be punished for these crimes. As you said, there was reason to do them. But your behavior and conduct sadly cannot be excused. Therefore, you are simply banished from Candlekeep. Do not worry, we will not forcibly remove you, but you will leave within the hour, never to return.
I grind my teeth. I want to say something, but nothing will do any good once they made up their minds. I just nod, and I say, "Pleasure to be of service." And I stand up, meaning to leave immediately.
They do not stop you as you go to exit. Alto, what do you do?
I just sigh. I feel sad, of course, about Vex being kicked out like that. It's not right. We all did what we could in there. We all thought we would die. I don't blame him for maybe going too far. I might have done the same. But I don't think I can change anything. I just nod. I nod to Vex. We couldn't have done it without you. You saved a lot of people.
Maybe I'll see you around. Seeker Alto. Good luck in your search.
Maybe we will see each other again, Seeker Vex. I hope so.
And I take one final glance at everyone there. And then smile, a cold smile. Turn around, and I leave.
And you begin to leave. The sages part ways. They do not try and stop you. They look at you very carefully. You, sadly, have heard stories of this strictness, but perhaps that is why this place has remained as secure as it has for so long. Some would disagree with this, of course, but for now it seems you are going to depart. Alto. Varnia just looks at you and sighs. It is a little harsh on your friend, but I saw what he did. I'm sorry, I can't really defend him. He didn't have to be so cruel. That effigy was all that remained of Ebda's wife. She was a lovely soul. They both miss her terribly.
He didn't know. He didn't know. But what's done is done. At least we survived. At least the child survived, and her father. That's something.
Yes. Yes, quite the scare, and I don't think poor Crinkle's not looking very well. He hurt her quite badly as well. That's the problem, you see. It's not that he didn't do good, it's that he just hurt so many of us. And precedent and all that, and rules.
Yes, we must have rules. We must have rules. Although you do wish that sometimes they could be bent a little bit, when intentions were good. You know?
Sometimes rules being bent is what leads to the problems in the first place. I never thought something like this could happen. I just wanted to restore a beautiful library. Was I wrong? Should I have been more careful?
You couldn't have known. But it's clear that there's a lot of things hiding within these tomes. Things that weren't meant to come out. Things that were meant to be forgotten. Yes, we must be careful. But you should continue your work. It is good work. And it will make a lot of people's lives better. And it will bring a lot of knowledge out that is today lost.
Alto. It is a few hours later. The sun is bright in the sky, and you are in the grounds of the Court of Air. Your experience is fresh in your mind, but everything else seems normal now. The rest of Candlekeep continues as it always does. The sages had a word with you, and took some responsibility for the event, allowing you a few extra days free of rent. You can have whatever room you like. As you are here in this fine place, what are your thoughts on the evening's events?
It was... it was exciting, I suppose. A lot more exciting than I really like. It's not really me, this adventuring, coming close to death. Or perhaps it is. I suppose I survived it. I suppose I did all right. I also have come closer to understanding my own limitations and my own fear. I think this will make me stronger for the future. I think I will be able to stand my ground. And I will be able to become a real wizard. Yes, this is the beginning of a glorious journey.
Vex. You are on the Lion's Way, the great road that leads to Candlekeep. Looking behind you, you can see the sun high in the air. It is a pleasant day, but Candlekeep now is gone for you. Bar a miracle, they are unlikely to lift your banishment.
And I think of the smashing of the glass statue. I think of my frozen breath, almost freezing him to the ground, and how I flung that old lady back into the wall and down into her chair. What a rush! Does the shadow have a name? Shemshime. Causes grief, avoids the blame. Shemshime.
Yes, an amusing little rhyme. But if you wish to stop singing, you can. It is yours now.
It is. It is. And maybe next time, I'll be the one who avoids the blame.
And so, you continue on your way, back along the Sword Coast. Deep beneath the library of Candlekeep lie vast tunnels containing large vaults guarded by powerful entities. It is here where some of the most dangerous books are kept, never to be seen again, or only collected if they truly are needed. Mighty tomes wielded by necromancers, cursed books that have slain hundreds. And now in one cell, a few avowed placed down a simple children's book. Within this book is a creature who wishes nothing but pain and suffering, and to escape the blame. That is what it was designed for, and that is what it will do. But for now it is contained here. Who would have thought such woe could come from a simple bedtime rhyme?
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played Shemshime's Bedtime Rhyme from Candlekeep Mysteries for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. The music was created by Metatron Omega and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check them out at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more music for your table. We've also used the soundtracks of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 by Michael Honig, used with permission from Beamdog, from whom you can get the enhanced editions of these classic games. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Ludwig Manford, and Robin for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. So saith the wise Alondo.